In my opinion, these are two of the best professional camera sliders on the market today. And I've been using each of them for a couple years now. But here's the problem. They both get identically smooth slider shots, and one of them costs about half as much as the other. So let's take a look at the pros and cons of each so you can decide which one's best for you. On this side, we have the iFootage Shark Slider S1. And at the time of filming, it goes for about $600 US. And this has been one of the most popular sliders for years now. It's the same one that MKBHD uses, Caleb Pike over at DSLR Video Shooter, Andy Axe, and many other filmmakers. And over here, we have the SYRP Magic Carpet Pro, and it starts at about $1,150. But it doesn't get nearly as much love and attention as the Shark Slider, but I really think that it should. Both of them are about 2 feet long, so they'll give you really similar travel when doing a slide, but they can actually be configured to be a lot longer. So let me grab the rods for this, and these extension rods actually come with the Shark Slider. So it makes it twice as long, and it ends up being about 5 feet long. So that's really nice that you don't have to pay any more to get a slider that's twice as long. With the Magic Carpet Pro, you have to buy each of the tracks individually. So this is the 3-foot length and this is the 2. So obviously when you combine them, you're getting a full 5-foot length. One of the first major differences between these two sliders is that the Shark Slider uses carbon fiber rails. So they're much lighter, and because they're thinner as well, they actually pack right into the carrying case for the iFootage Shark Slider. So it's a little bit easier to travel with if you want to pack light. Now with the Magic Carpet Pro, it uses aluminum rails, so it's much heavier, and the rails themselves are actually a lot larger in circumference. They're about 1 inch around. And because the tracks are so much bigger, they don't actually fit in the same carrying case together. You have to use one for each. So if you want to travel really light and compact, this makes it a little bit harder to do. The next major difference is actually the way that the extension tracks connect. So on the iFootage, they screw into place. But in order to do that, you have to remove the end here, and there's actually a gear belt here that you have to fully disconnect and take off before you can even remove this end piece, and then screw these on. And then you need to grab the longer track and put that through the entire thing and put it all back together. Now, because it has this belt in here, this little drive belt, it does make adding the extension tubes quite a bit lengthier of a process. So if you're trying to move really quickly on set, extending the length of your slider is going to take a little bit of time. So this is where the Magic Carpet Pro really shines. It's very easy to add a piece of extension. All you have to do is release these levers on the side, pull off the butt end, and then you throw in the little connector pieces, and then put this piece of extension right into place and lock it. And then you add the butt end. So it's very easy to switch from 2 feet to 5 feet, and you can actually go infinitely long. As long as you want to buy more and more of this track, it'll just keep on connecting together. And one of the biggest reasons it's so quick to make that change is because you don't have to deal with the drive belt like you do on the iFootage Shark Slider, because the teeth or gear belt is actually built right into the side of the rod here. And you may be wondering, how on earth does that work? I don't see a counterweight anywhere like you have here on the iFootage Shark Slider. You can see that counterweight move, which makes the slide way smoother. But on the Magic Carpet Pro, you don't see a counterweight or flywheel anywhere, and that's because it's actually built directly into the carriage. It's underneath and doing all of the work in complete secrecy, which I love. So that's a beautiful thing and makes the design of the slider so much more sleek and better balanced, so you don't have a large weight on one side. Another cool thing about this flywheel is that there's a button here on the side that if I press it, it'll disengage the flywheel. So if for some reason I don't want that counter resistance, I can easily turn it on and off. And if you want a different amount of counter resistance, you can actually adjust that. So once I remove the tripod head, there's a little wheel here on the inside that if I spin will actually either add more resistance or decrease it. So that's really nice if you want to fine tune your slides depending on the weight of your camera rig. Both sliders have threads on top, so you can easily screw a tripod head on top. But what makes the SYRP slider so unique is the fact that it actually has a quick release system. So I can take this off by pulling this knob here, and now I can pull off the entire tripod head. If you're traveling and you don't want to unscrew your tripod head from the slider over and over again, it's very nice to have it on a quick release, because as soon as you get on set, you can just throw your tripod head on top, lock it into place, and you're ready to go already. Both of the sliders have legs on them, so if you want to use it on the ground for a really low angle shot, you can just spin these little knobs and then tighten the legs back into place. But of course, the SYRP does it just a little bit better. It has these quick release latches, and then you can drop them into place and lock them right back down. So it's the little things, these design features, that make the Magic Carpet Pro shine. Both of the sliders have bubble levels built into the carriage, so you can easily get a level horizon. Now, SYRP does make a Magic Carpet with carbon fiber rails, but I opted for the aluminum because it has a larger load capacity. This thing can take up to 70 pounds, which is insane. You can definitely put a really large, fully rigged out Red, Ursa Mini, Sony FS7, whatever it is, on this slider, and it will work great. So that is one of the disadvantages of the Shark slider. It's only rated up to 11 pounds. Now, I've thrown some heavier camera rigs on there, up to about 15 pounds, and it's handled it just fine. But if you don't need a larger camera rig, it'll definitely handle any DSLR or mirrorless camera perfectly. Now, if you're going to use either of these sliders in their longer configurations, you really have to use 2 tripods, one on each end, to make it stable. Now, with the SYRP Magic Carpet Pro, you can easily use the 2-foot track with just one tripod centered in the middle. But if you want to use just their 3-foot length, you really can't use this with only one tripod. You have to use 2, because the track itself doesn't actually have any threads here in the center to allow you to just use one nice centered tripod. And they designed it this way intentionally because they didn't want you to have one centered tripod in the middle and then a heavy camera rig out on this side and have it tip over. Both of these sliders have kits to make them fully motorized. So if you want to do, say, a moving time lapse where you can tilt, pan, and of course slide, that's possible. And the motors to do that for iFootage are about $2,600 US. So they're not cheap at all, and on their website right now, they're completely sold out. So I think you'll be a little bit hard pressed to actually find the motorized kit for this. And to me, it's a little out of date, it's a little clunky. Whereas with the SYRP, they use a combination of the Magic Genies, and that's great, of course, for getting those repeatable video shots and moving time lapses. But the thing is, it's also about $2,600, which in my opinion is not cheap. Both of these motorized systems cost more than twice the price of the slider itself. So for me personally, it's a little bit steep, but if you do need it, it's an option. Now, I would say I would definitely go with the Genie because it's much sleeker, smaller, more compact, more intuitive, and has a much better app system. Now, when it comes down to it, the iFootage Shark slider will give you just as smooth as shots as the SYRP Magic Carpet Pro, and it's half the price. It comes with the extension rods, it's carbon fiber, so it's lighter and more compact. But the SYRP Magic Carpet Pro has some of those incredible design features like a built-in flywheel, quick release for the tripod head, and it's very easy to extend it and add an infinite amount of track for really heavy camera rigs without worrying about a gear belt. For me personally, I think that both of them are great sliders, and it just depends on your budget and needs. But if I had to choose one of them, it'd be the SYRP Magic Carpet Pro. All right, guys, if you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe right now, and I'll see you in the next video.